It's great to have you here today. I have some awesome drills that are going to help you in the same day to make better contact with the golf ball. And I'm telling you, I promise these are going to work. You follow these, go to the range, do each and every one of those. It doesn't take very long, and by the end of the session, you're going to be hitting it more solid. So let's jump right into it, go through these drills. I know you're going to love them. I have got a ton of great videos coming out for you this year, and I don't want you to miss out. Now, the only way you're going to see my latest releases is if you click that subscribe button down below. Go ahead and click that right now. Hit the thumbs up button. That really helps us out. And post your comments. I would love to hear from you. All right, so the first drill is spraying some foot spray powder on your club face, which is going to make that completely white. And then when you hit the golf ball, it's going to show you where you hit it on the club face. Now, I like to use this Dr. Scholl's Odor X foot spray powder. It comes in a yellow can. I get it on Amazon. It's only a few bucks for a can like this, and it lasts quite a few sprays, quite a few golf balls. What that's going to do, what you'll notice when you start to hit some shots doing this, is you're going to see a pattern either toward the heel or the toe that most players tend to fall into. And once you're just aware of that pattern, simply try to hit on the other side of the face. So there, I felt like I was a little thin and a little bit on the heel. Not the best shot ever, but it is on the green, actually about 15 feet short of the pin. But you're going to see a little bit thin. So on there, I would just try to do the opposite of wherever I'm off. I'm going to go a little bit higher on the face and try to get a little bit more of a divot on my next swing. Doesn't matter if you're heel, toe, thin, heavy, whatever it is, just being aware of what's happening. You hit 3-4 shots, you're going to start to see a pattern, and then you can adjust that pattern to get more toward the sweet spot. It's really that simple. It doesn't have to be any more complicated. We don't have to get into all these crazy swing ideas and techniques and swing planes and arrows and all this stuff. Sometimes just being aware of what's going on and trying to adjust, just like that, 3, 4, 5 swings, you're way better. So hit 5 shots. Once you see a pattern, start to adjust. That's the foot spray powder drill. That's really going to help you a lot. All right, drill number 2 for solid contact. This is going to work on your contact with the ground, which is probably the most important that I see for most intermediate, even slightly advanced golfers, is they struggle hitting the ground at the exact same point every single time. It results in heavy shots and thin shots. And again, it's about being aware of what's going on. So here's what I do. It's called the 3-tee drill. I set up one tee, just like the golf ball that I'm going to hit would be in the middle. I'm going to set up one tee about 6 inches behind that golf ball and just barely sticking out of the ground, just about a 1/4 inch or so out of the ground. And then the same thing, 6 inches in front. And that tee is going to be just slightly higher. All these are somewhere between a 1/4 inch and a 1/2 inch off the ground. So basically how you would tee it up if you're going to hit on a par 3. Now from here, what I want to do is I want to swing and hit this golf ball. I want to miss that back tee. I want to come down and through and have my divot clip this front tee out of the ground. In order to do that, what I like to feel, a little trick here, in my backswing, I like to feel like I unweight my left heel just slightly. You don't have to lift it up in the ground very much, but I just want to unweight it. And then to start my downswing while I'm still at the top of the swing, I want to press that heel into the ground. That's going to help me to shift my weight to the left, hit this ball, and then this front tee. So let's go ahead and try it out. Let's see if I can clip these, hit my ball and clip the front tee also. There we go, nice shot. Just slightly left of the flag. You can see that I came down, I hit my tee first, my divot started right where that tee is. I clipped the second tee out of the ground. That's gonna give you some great feedback there. Now, if you hit a little farther behind, just work on driving that front heel, shifting that weight a little bit harder into the ground. If you really struggle with that, what I recommend you doing is going ahead and lift that heel up a little bit higher and then feel like you really drive that down, almost like a little stomp into the ground. If you had a tee under your heel, you can imagine pushing that into the ground as you start your downswing. That's going to get everything moving to the left. Second key there, make sure when you come to your full finish, I want my right toe to be completely off the ground, swiveled all the way around, and my hips to be facing the target. Nice full finish like that. If I can do that, it's going to help me to hit through the golf ball instead of falling back. So those are 2 keys that really help. If you start to notice that you're hitting a little bit higher, don't worry about that. Just go ahead and hit down a little bit more of ground. So having the feedback is the key. You want to get it to look like this, where it's hitting the ball, divot in front, the second tee is clipped out of the ground. Anything different than that, just adjust like we did on the first one. You're a great athlete. Most people forget how good of an athlete they are. You have the ability to adjust without getting super technical and everything. We have a couple little tips there to get that divot in front. That doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. Go out to the range, hit 5 shots working on this. That's also going to help to improve your contact. We'll be ready to move right along to the next piece. Drill number 3 is one of my favorite ones, and this is what I call the hammer drill. What we're going to do is take this club, put the toe of the club where it's facing the golf ball, and I want to make some swings, imagining that I'm just gonna, that golf ball is a nail, my club head is a hammer, and I'm gonna drive that hammer down into the ground. So I'm driving that golf ball down into the ground. What that sensation is gonna get me to do is to naturally start to lean the hands forward. For whatever reason, it just feels really comfortable with this head turned this way, to get those hands leading the way, to get everything happening in front. We talk about in the Top Speed Golf system how we'd be releasing to the straight line release out ahead, and that's gonna really help you to get that solid contact. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and take a swing, set up to this golf ball with the toe forward, pause at impact, feel like you're gonna hammer that golf ball into the ground, and then we're gonna go and hit a shot. We should get a nice clean divot after doing this and really compress the golf ball. There we go, that one was nice and solid, just barely left of the flag and really, really clean there. I love that sensation. I even do this myself because I just feel like it really syncs everything up with where I want to be at contact and gets you some really, really solid shots. So one practice swing pausing at contact, one full swing. We're gonna do 5 total reps of the hammer drill. All right, now this is one of my favorite drills called the gate drill. Now on this one, just like I was doing with the Dr. Scholl's, I'm gonna see if I can make that centered contact on the club face. Now if I start to swing through this gate, and what I've done is I've set a couple of tees here outside my club, and I can adjust these closer or farther away depending on my skill level. I like to have these sitting about a ½ inch or so out of the ground. So if I come down and make flush contact with this golf ball, I'm gonna swing through this gate and hit that golf ball on the center of the club face. Now, here's the interesting thing. If we just sit down and we try to do the same thing over and over again, this is the way that I grew up thinking about golf. I want to just do the same thing, hit it solid every single time. Like a robot, time and time again, don't change anything. The more I can do things the same, the better I'm gonna be. Well, in reality, through all the research that's been done through motor learning, what they found is the best way to train, the fastest way to learn to hit the center of the face is something called random practice. And what you would do is you would purposely hit on the toe and hit on the heel and go back and forth, toe, heel, toe, heel. That way you can get an awareness of where you're hitting on the club face. And that's the perfect drill to use for this tee drill. So what I'm gonna do, and another interesting fact here, is if I'm hitting a little bit too much on the toe side and I wanna hit a little bit more toward the heel, my natural inclination would be to line the club up on the heel and try to swing down and through more toward the heel side. Now, in reality, your brain's smart. It sees that you're lined up on the heel and it adjusts in your swing, and it'll usually come back in and hit toward the toe. So you start toward the heel and it'll adjust and hit toward the toe again. So no matter how much you line up at the heel, your body adjusts and goes toward the toe. We're actually gonna switch that up a little bit. If I wanna hit a little bit more toward the heel, I'm actually gonna start on this inside tee. So I'm gonna set my club up just like I would normally hit the golf ball. And then I'm gonna pull it in toward this inside tee. So my heel of my club's kind of resting on that tee. As I swing, I'm gonna swing out and hit more on the heel side of my club and come down and still try to swing through these tees, almost hit that outside tee there. So swing number 1, start on the inside tee and swing out to the golf ball. There we go. I was able to make that happen, just slightly on the heel side, just barely left of the flag. Another shot on the green. Now, I want to vary that up. I don't want to do the same thing over and over again. If I want to learn fast, I have to alternate. So on this next swing, set the ball there again. I'm going to line up a little bit on the toe, or on the outside of this, with my club on this outside tee. As I swing, I'm going to swing in and try to hit a little bit more on the toe. So this time, setting up on the outside tee, swinging in. There we go, that one's dead straight at the flag. Probably the straightest one I've hit so far. And that one started a little bit out and moved in. Now, that sounds pretty crazy, I have to admit. You're lining up toward the heel, you're lining up toward the toe, it doesn't sound consistent. So why is this so much better? Well, 2 things are going on here. Your body's ability to adapt and adjust is being improved. So sometimes I'm gonna start hitting on the heel all the time and I'm not gonna feel like I can change. By doing this drill, starting on the inside and swinging out to the heel, starting on the outside, swinging into the toe, now I know how to adjust. I know the feeling of how to adjust, and I can do that on the fly. If I ever have a day where I just keep on hitting the driver in the heel, this works the same with the driver, then I can adjust and hit it more toward the toe or more toward the sweet spot. I can do that in 1 or 2 swings and my day's saved. My round isn't a disaster. Now, that's the first thing that's going on. You have the ability to adjust. Number 2, by being able to control this like that, now you're better having awareness of where the club face is. If I do the same thing over and over and over again, I may get into a habit of hitting off the heel or the toe and not even realize it. It may feel more comfortable. I may have better practice when I try to line up and do the same thing every time, but when I get out to the course, it doesn't transfer over. I don't have as much control of that golf club. If I practice this way, it's tougher when you practice. You always want to make your practice the hardest, and that way on the course seems easier, but it's tougher when you practice here. When you get to the course, it's easier, and you know how to have an awareness of this club face. So do those drills. I promise you, those sound crazy, but if you do them, you will have better contact. Follow this up. The final 5 reps, I'm just going to lay down golf balls, and I'm going to try to hit 5 shots as clean and solid as I can, nice and straight toward the middle of the green. If you do these drills, it's going to work wonders for your golf game. So I was actually sitting here struggling a little bit after shooting this video, that last clip there, and I'll tell you why. You know, what most people would like to hear and what feels good is to say, okay, let's put both these tees down here, let's put the ball in the middle, and let's swing along, and if you can go through those tees, you're going to become a much better golfer, and the game is going to get a lot easier. That's what we all want to hear. And that's probably what you hear a lot of other coaches saying. You're just having them do these drills, do the same thing over, things that you like to hear, things that feel good. So why is it that I'm promoting to do something that isn't as fun, that is a little bit more of a struggle, and is a little bit of a weirder drill? Well, here's the thing. Here's what the research has shown, and really the reason this is going to make you so much better of a player. If I sat down at the driving range and I did these last 5 reps and I put the ball between the tees, and I just hit that ball every single time, and I said, okay, I'm going to miss those tees and I'm going to hit this ball solid. I'm not going to worry about changing it up and adapting and do all that frustrating stuff. That's a struggle. What's going to happen is my performance on the driving range is going to be much better. You're going to hit the ball better right now. But the problem is I didn't really learn anything about how to adjust and adapt when things get off. So when I take it to the course, and maybe I have a downhill lie, a side hill lie, I'm hitting it off the heel, I'm hitting it off the toe, all these different things are happening to me. When things get off track, I have no ability to adjust. So even though my performance was high on the range, it's going to be low on the course. It's going to plummet. We've all had those times where you take out your 7-iron or your 8-iron and you hit 30 or 40 range shots in a row, you're hitting it great, and then you go to the course where you have to switch up the shots, you only get 1 7-iron, then you got to hit a driver, then you got to mix up all these clubs, the performance tanks again. So the research has shown that if we really want to improve our performance, if we want to go to the course where it matters and be able to hit the real good shots when it matters most, we have to make practice a struggle. We have to do these drills that force us to get out of our comfort zone, to learn how to control the club even better. It's going to be harder. You're not going to have as much fun on the driving range, but it's just 5 swings. Anybody can struggle through anything for 5 swings and get a little bit out of that and get a step higher and improve a little bit more. Not going to be as fun on the range, but it's a lot more fun when your scores go down. So that's why I'm recommending this stuff.